Greetings, comic book fans. Welcome once again to the Dude Cave. I'm Jason. It is Saturday, the 29th of October, 2016, and you are watching Comic Haul Weekly, my weekly video where I share with you the brand new books I've picked up this week. And I've got quite a stack of books that I to get through this week. So, without further ado, let's get into these books. These are the first couple of books are going to be the books that I'm going to be reading straight away. Then we've got a chunk of books where I'm a bit behind on, and then we've got some books at the end that I've already read. So let's kick things off. So this book is my next book to read. It is Witchfinder, City of the Dead, issue number 3 of 5. This is part of the Mignola-verse, which is kind of all characters that started from Hellboy, and kind of then Mike Mignola started creating this whole world, and these are characters that are all in that world, that shared world. This follows Sir Edward Grey, and he's this guy who deals with the occult and kind of takes things out, and the Queen has kind of knighted him and made him, given him a position, a royal position to kind of deal with these things. But like the people, the lower people, they call him the Witchfinder, because that's basically what he is. He finds out the occult and troubles and dangers, and he takes them out. So I've been enjoying this story so far. He's dealing with the undead that won't stay dead. So, but this has been really good. Really enjoying it. Just the kind of thing you want to be reading around Halloween. We then have the Punisher Annual #1. This has got a tremendous cover. Another one really suited for Halloween. So yeah, looking forward to getting into that. See what that's about. Then a special book I picked up. It is a Doctor Who 2016 convention special. You would have got this at the conventions, and my comic shop, they had 2 in, and they saved one for me because they know I get all the Doctor Who books. So this was awesome. It was $10, and it worked out. I think I paid £7.99 for it. So that was awesome. It was lucky. It was a week where I had the cash, but I would have put books back on the shelf to have got this because I haven't read it yet. It looks like there's a lot of like short stories in there with lots of different doctors, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that. That should be good, and I'm really chuffed to have that in my collection. We then have a back issue every week. I'm kind of trying to fill my gaps on BPRD Hell on Earth. So I've started from issue 107, which kicked off a story called Wasteland, and I'm kind of going forward buying an issue each week. So this week it was issue 109 I got. I'm just going to get them each week. My comic shop, they sell them for like $1.95, the back issues. So I'm figuring if I get one each week, I'll soon kind of catch up to where we are now. And then I can kind of pick another series to catch up on, or I can go further back in BPRD. So, I've got this. To me, looking at it, I think the Hellboy books are going to be the more difficult books to get, and I may have to get those in trade. But yeah, I'm really loving the whole BPRD right now. So another back issue for me to read. Now these books, now the big chunk here, I'm behind on, so I'm just going to whiz through these. We have Star Wars issue number 24, which I think I've got 2 issues to catch up on that. We've got Star Wars Poe Dameron issue number 7, which I've got 5 and 6 to read. Then I'll be up to date and getting with that. The final issue of The Vision, issue number 12. This book has been awesome. It's certainly one of the books of the year. If you want something a bit different, this is definitely a book for you. Brilliant stuff about like Vision's doomed attempt at creating a family, and it just has been superb all the way through. Tom King just showing he is a top-notch writer, and it's just been superb. I have absolutely loved this. I'm on issue 10, so once I've read 10 and 11, I'll be getting straight into this, and I think those will be top of my to-read list because I really want to get to the end of this and see how it ends up. We then have Bloodshot USA, issue number 1. I've not read the last couple of issues of the other Bloodshot Reborn, which looking in the back, I think has finished. Yeah, looking at the books in the back of this, I think that book's finished now. So we've got Bloodshot USA has kind of took its place. So I'm intrigued to see what's going on in here, but I want to finish the last series before I get into this. We then have 2 Doctor Who books. We have the 10th Doctor Adventures Year 2, issue number 15, which has been a good series. I'm enjoying that. I think I'm 2 behind on that. And likewise, the 11th Doctor, Year Adventures Year 2, issue 14. I've not been enjoying the 11th Doctor one as much, where the 10th Doctor, you've got like, yeah, there's an overarching thing that's going on, but it's kind of different adventures every few issues. With this Doctor, what they've done for the 14 issues, it's basically been one story. And I kind of have found at points it's got a bit convoluted and a bit confusing because it's got a bit too long. I think this would have been a lot stronger if they'd have made this story shorter, or at least that the Doctor have a series of adventures that link up at the end, rather than it just read like one long narrative. But yes, but maybe the few issues I've got to catch up on, they turn all of that around. We've got Generation Zero issue 3. I've only got issue 2 to read, then I'm up to date on this. Really enjoyed the first issue of this. It's kind of like, imagine the A-Team, but with superpowers, and that's what it's kind of is. This group of kids called Generation Zero who have these abilities, and they help people that really need help. And loads of people contact them, but they only take certain cases of people that are 100% genuine. So, yeah, I love the first issue, so I'm really looking forward to catching up on that. We then have Spider-Man Deadpool issue 10, which I think I've got 2 issues to read of this before getting back up to date. We have Batgirl issue number 4, which I've got issue 3 to read, then I'm up to date. We've got Superman Action Comics issue 966, which I think I've got about 3 issues of this to read. I find the DC books that are coming out twice a month now, I'm finding the most difficult to keep up to date on. Because once you're a couple of issues behind, it becomes increasingly difficult because every other week you've got another one coming out. So it has been difficult with these books. And but I'm hopefully, once I'm up to date again, I won't fall off the wagon. We then have a Batman Detective Comics issue number 943. And I'm liking what DC are doing at the moment. Let me get this lined up nicely. How at the top of the page you've got the name of the story that they're running, along with the issue, the number of that. So it's really good if you're looking for back issues, or even if you just go into your comic shop and you're looking for a book to read and you look at this Batman Detective Comics, oh, this is part 1 of this story, I'm going to pick this up and try this. So yeah, I like that. I think that's nice. Also, I really like that cover. But this Detective Comics has been one of my favourite Rebirth books. It has been really good. James Tynion IV has done a really good job. Of course, they're all dealing with the death of Robin. I think I've got the crossover event that they did to read first, Night of the Monster Men. Then I can get back into this, and cause like they're still dealing with the death of Red Robin, Tim Drake, and so like it's going to be interesting how that affects the team that Batman has kind of built here. But this has been a fantastic book. We then have The Flash issue number 9, and I've enjoyed what I've read of this, but I am a bit behind with this. I think this is the one where I'm the furthest behind, so I've got some hard work to catch up. We then have Titans issue 4. Fortunately, I'm only 1 issue behind on this, issue 3, which that's like on my next books to read pile. That's there, so I'll get through this lickety split. We then have Wonder Woman number 9, which I'm way behind on Wonder Woman. I was really enjoying the series. What Greg Rucka's doing is really smart in that like it comes out twice a month, but 1 issue is the Wonder Woman Year 1 story, and 1 issue is the current day. So he allows a different artist for both, and it can keep each artist for both. And I think the way Greg Rucka's organized that, I don't know if it was his idea or his editor, but I think it's a really smart idea and a really great way to use the 2 issues a month. So yeah, great stuff. And I've been enjoying this because I never really read that much Wonder Woman until the New 52 began, and I loved the Brian Azzarello story that kicked off the New 52. Fantastic stuff. And when that series ended, the book took a massive dive off a cliff, and I just didn't touch it, and I wasn't that interested in it at all. But I missed reading Wonder Woman because I'd grown to like the character. So I'm really glad that they've put Greg Rucka on the book, and he'd come up with this great idea. This is the present day story, and Liam Sharp on art, who's just doing a stellar job. He certainly is, for me, one of the breakout artists of 2016. We then have Birthright issue 20, which I'm 2 issues behind on this. Shame on me. I really want to catch up on this because it's been a really good series. It's kind of like, when you see those films where like the kid goes to the land and this other land, and he becomes this hero that's going to free the land, and kind of this is what happens next. So we have this young kid, Mikey. He ends up in this other land, and he's destined to be the one that kills the Red King. But in the end, but then he doesn't kill the Red King. He joins him, and he gets infected by this thing called the Nevermind, and he returns to our world. And but on his world, only one. On his world, 10 years have passed. On our world, only 1 year has passed. So he comes back, and his parents have like all this stuff that's happened. His dad's been accused of murdering him. His dad has become an alcoholic because of all the stress. He's split up with his mom, and kind of all this crazy stuff's happened while he's been away. And he comes back, but his family don't know at first. They don't accept it's him at first, and also they don't know he's infected with the Nevermind. So I think it's called the Nevermind. That sounds strange, but I'm sure it's something like that. And anyway, so he's come back to our world because there's these four Margies, these four wizards that he's got to kill that can be a threat to the Red King. And he's got to come and find them. They're hiding on Earth, and he's got to find them and kill them. And it turns out one of them's his grandfather. Like, how mixed up is that? And that's why he was the chosen one, because there's this lineage from this world, which his own dad didn't know that his dad was from this other world. So it's really good because at the core of it, it's a family drama, and which something we can all kind of empathize with, because we all have families, whether they're good or bad. We all have families, so you can kind of empathize with that. But then you've got this kind of great fantasy story mixed in there as well. So really great stuff. Really enjoying the book, and I really want to catch up on that because that is one of my favorite books. We have All New, All Different Avengers, issue number 15. This is the last issue. The team's splitting up. It says in the back, that the story continues. You get Champions issue number 1 and Avengers issue number 1, as the team's going to split. The young members of the team, they're going to go off and form the Champions, while the older members of the team are going to stay Avengers. So yeah, I forgot, I think 2 issues of this to read and an annual, and then I'm up to date. So it won't be long before I'm up to date on this, which I do want to get up to date on this because we've got Avengers. I think it's next week it comes out, so I want to be up to date for when Avengers comes out. We've got Steve Rogers, Captain America, which I'm behind on. This was a book, like the first issue when they launched this, I hated the whole kind of reveal that Steve Rogers was a Hydra agent. I just thought it was disgusting. But like then issue 2 kind of, and it revealed that it was the Red Skull using the powers he's gained from adding Professor Xavier's brain to his own, and gaining his mental abilities, that he's convinced Steve Rogers that he was an Hydra agent, and kind of he's gone along with Red Skull. And then you've got in the 3rd issue, the reveal that Steve Rogers wasn't as helpless as we thought, that there may be more of the Steve Rogers we know and love left than Red Skull thinks. So the first 3 issues I kind of went to total kind of opposite directions on, and I kind of completely come round to where the story is. And just as kind of you're intrigued in the story, the book crosses over with Civil War 2. So it kind of slows the momentum of the story we were following. But I'm definitely intrigued. I want to catch up with this because Steve Rogers is one of my favorite Marvel characters. So I want to catch up on this and see where we're going to go with our old Captain America. We then have Deadpool. This is a thick issue, as you can see. This was a $9.99 book as well, but it does feel very, very thick. It sees the return of Madcap, Deadpool's arch enemy, who kind of basically wants to kind of not just destroy Deadpool, but he wants to destroy his credibility as well. So yeah, I've got a few to catch up on, but that's going to be a big read when I get to it. We then have Miss Marvel issue number 12, which kicks off her new direction. Kind of like she's very disappointed in her mentor, Captain Marvel, from the events of Civil War 2. So kind of what's that going to mean for Miss Marvel? That's going to be interesting. We've got Silver Surfer issue 7, which I've just got issue 6 to read, then I'm up to date, but I've really been enjoying that series. These last few books are the books that I've read, which I'm going to go through quickly. We've got Teen Titans number 1, which I've really enjoyed. I picked it up because I was curious. There was like a few characters in I like, plus the writer I like, and so I picked it up. I enjoyed the Rebirth issue, so I picked this one up out of curiosity, but I'm going to keep getting this now. I absolutely love this issue. This was really, really good, and one of the favourite books I've read this week so far. We have Civil War 2, issue number 6, which is one of the stronger issues of the series, as kind of we get away from the infighting, and kind of it's people standing around debating what should we do and what's going on here. So I really liked that rather than seeing them throw down. I'm not as into that. I think we've had a bit too much over recent years of hero fighting hero. I don't think it has the same kind of impact anymore. Where have them actually, and also the other thing is having them kind of this talk is playing to Bendis' strengths, because Bendis is fantastic with dialogue, and there were some fantastic moments in this book. Also, David Marquez on art, superb. He's developing to a real top-notch artist. We then have Saga issue number 39, another really great issue. We don't really get yet to deal with the fallout from Isabel's death, because they don't know yet that she's dead, or that this bounty hunter has landed on Pang to track them down. However, Hazel can feel that something's wrong, because her Hazel and Isabel, were connected. So kind of that connection has been broken. So Hazel knows something's wrong. So Hazel's the only one who's kind of dealing with knowing for sure that she's dead. We get other elements of the story. We check in with the Will and see what's happening with him. And we also check in with this new bounty hunter and kind of find out a bit more about what was going on Pang. So all in all, I really enjoyed this. This was another good issue, and you can feel the threads of the story kind of really moving forward in the same direction. We then have Extraordinary X-Men issue number 15, which I enjoyed. This and much like Saga, you can feel the threads of this story beginning to kind of come together now, as Magik and Storm are kind of stranded, and they need to find their way back to help the X-Men, because Magik's former the girl Snapnat that Magik was helping has now been possessed by the World Eater, and so they need to stop her before she destroys the Jean Grey Mansion, the Jean Grey school, that has been hidden in limbo, because the X-Men can't live on Earth anymore because of the Terrigen Mists that are giving the X-Men this kind of this X-virus thing. So I enjoyed this. I liked it. The artist has a different way of drawing faces. The noses are a lot thicker, which makes the faces look a bit different. But the artist, it isn't that the artist is a bad artist, because there are moments in the book where he really gets to show off his skills. I'm trying to find, there's a great double page thread that here we go. You know, so like there's moments like this where he gets to show his skill, and he is a good artist, but I just feel that his art is different from what we're used to on the book. It's just his noses are a bit thicker, so it makes the characters look a bit different. Also, his face is, I think, a bit chubbier, but I don't know if that's because the nose is different. It just makes everything look. But that's just his style, and it doesn't make him a bad artist. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I've not overjoyed with the direction recently of the X books, but I am enjoying what Lemire's doing here. I don't think this is going to be one of my favourite periods of X-Men history, the whole thing with the Inhumans and that. I'm kind of waiting for that to be over, but we'll see. We then have Seven to Eternity, issue number 2, and this was brilliant. Remender continues to build this world with a series of flashbacks that kind of explain to us who the Mud King is, the God of Whispers, if you will, and kind of his backstory and how he rose to power. We get to understand a bit more why Zeb and his family were on the run and why their name is cursed, and that all makes more sense. We get introduced to some new characters in the present day, potentially some new heroes. So that's really cool. Also, what's really cool is after the letters, we get this like nice double page with some of Apinya's penciling sketchbook work, as he kind of introduces the new characters. So we get to meet Healer Monkey, Patchwork, Drawbridge, and White Lady, who are 4 of the heroes that we meet this issue. But yeah, this was again another really great issue. I really enjoyed this. This is just developing into a really great series, from the great writing and world building by Remender to the great imagination and artwork of Jerome Apinha. I'm loving this. This is just brilliant. So those are my books for this week. I will be back next Friday or possibly Saturday with another haul video. I don't know when my next comic book opinions video will be. I'm busy the beginning of the week and then I'm back at work. So I may not have an opinions video next week. It may be a fortnight before I do another one. But I have got a few ideas for a couple of opinion videos. But like whether I do them will depend on how quickly I can do them. Because I'd kind of like to do a Doctor Strange one talking about the movie that I saw yesterday. So I would like to do that, but then also I would really and also in that same video, I would like to talk about the recent Doctor Strange books as well and kind of my opinions on those. I'd like to do a book on the Magnolaverse and on the books that I've been reading of that and how I'm getting into that world. So I've got a few ideas for kind of videos I want to do. It's just getting the time to kind of put them together. But if all else fails, I will definitely be back next Friday with another haul video. So all that leaves me to say is thank you very much for watching. I've been Jason. It is the 29th of October, 2016. 216. I don't know. 2016. I've totally lost my train of thought now. You see, I make one mistake and it all goes to pot. So let me start again. So I've been Jason. It is the 29th of October, 2016. You've been watching Comic Haul Weekly. Keep reading and bye for now.